Okay, there's some pretty interesting RPG news that kind of caught me off guard because it's something that I felt would have already happened at this point, but it hasn't really happened at this point. But it's something that we've experienced with Sonic that didn't necessarily go too well, but could have if Sega actually was able to get it together with the RPGs and Sonic. So recently, the Sonic team boss Takashi Iizuka talked about why they haven't made an RPG Sonic game. It's something that you would think, wait a minute, why not? There's Mario RPG games. There's a ton of Mario style RPG games. There's other mascots that have gotten their own RPGs or their own styles. Why not Sonic? Why has there only been one game and it's not even made by Sega? Well, let's hear what Mr. Iizuka had to say on the matter in a recent interview with Good Vibes Gaming. Shout outs to the good people over there at Good Vibes. So here's what he had to say about a possible Sonic RPG for him to work on. Quote, personally, I really like role-playing games. The RPG game format is a lot of fun, and I've even thought to myself, for the past 30 years, we haven't done a Sonic RPG, and I'm questioning myself, why haven't we done a Sonic RPG in all this time? How have we gotten to 30 years with no RPGs? So I'd like to hopefully work on a Sonic RPG at some point before I retire from Sega. But that's just a dream right now. There's no concrete plans at this point. Now, one thing to note here, guys, they did have a Sonic RPG, Sonic and the Dark Brotherhood Chronicles, whatever the name of the game is. I'll have it up for you guys. I played it back in the day. It's okay. That was made by BioWare though. So let me get it straight here. Okay, guys. Sonic Chronicles, the Dark Brotherhood. There you go. It's a DS game. I think it used the Elite Beat Agents engine because there was some stuff that was very much like that. But it was made by BioWare and it definitely seemed like it was their C team, or maybe even lower, their C team. Let's just say the C team to be nice. It's a okay game. It's not like it's the worst game out there. There's some good story stuff in there, and there was even planning to be a sequel that Did You Know Gaming covered, but they ran into issues with the story and one of the comic writers and the suing and saying it was too similar and the whatever. So that ended up squashing any potential type of sequel that we could have got that would have improved upon the combat system, improved upon the story, and all of that. So I would have liked to see it, but at the same time, this might be an opportunity with them doing something internally and for them looking at the modern systems. You have the Switch 2, probably, if this was going to be a thing. You have PlayStation 5, you have Xbox, you have PC, you have all of these systems now that you are making games on, and you could make a good double A style of RPG that would be really fun to play. Look at the announcement of Mario and Luigi Brothership. Look at how many people loved that announcement and look how awesome it looks. Look at Mario plus Rabbids and look at the huge amount of people that they've been able to get for something like that. So there is a market for a spin-off RPG game. Mario RPG, Super Mario RPG sold over 3.3 million units on the Nintendo Switch. And that's an old Super Nintendo game coming back. Imagine what a big Sonic RPG could do on all platforms. That's good. That's not even like incredible, but rated somewhere like in the low 80s. I know that's tough for Sonic at times to be rated that high in today's day, at least with the 3D Sonic games. But with an RPG, in terms of combat and making things, I think it would be a little bit easier to get a higher score and to make something that was quality, because platforming is just inherently hard. 3D platforming, moving at high speeds, it's just something tough to do with Sonic in 3D. So I personally feel an RPG would be really good for Sonic, and I don't know why they haven't done one either. Sega has the resources, Sega has the team, Sega has everything that you need to make an awesome Sonic RPG. So I personally feel that Sega will get something going with that. I think that this is more than him just saying, oh yeah, maybe we can have one. I think he's kind of foreshadowing. He's kind of thinking, wait a minute, there might be a bit more there. And that would be awesome. Obviously, Sega is seeing the success of all the different RPGs that have came out. Nintendo has launched 3 RPGs, or will launch 3 Mario RPGs in a span of 1 year, dating back to last year, with Super Mario RPG Remake in November of 2023. Then they had Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door in May of 2024, and then they're gonna have Mario and Luigi Brothership in November of 2024. So in 1 year, 3 Mario RPGs, and they're all probably gonna sell 2-3 million units plus. I'm pretty sure Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door has sold over 2 million units, or is close to that, or is going to be over that, because Super Mario RPG sold over 3.3 million, and I'm almost positive Brothership could outsell both of them. I think it actually will, since it's a brand new game. You're going to get more hype for that when it comes down to people are going to be excited. All of the Mario and Luigi fans are going to come out the woodwork for that. So I do think that there is maybe not that big of a market as you have because of the history of Mario RPG games and the amount that there are, considering all of the different games across the Mario and Luigi franchise and the Paper Mario franchise. So I think that maybe it won't quite be at that level, but I still feel that it could be at a very good level. And of course, you'll have it multi-platform, so it's not just going to be on one platform like the Sonic Chronicles game was on the Nintendo DS. So something definitely could happen from this, and I'm hoping that Sega does it. As a big RPG fan myself, I want to see Sonic in an RPG. And I think that if they did it this way, where you have, like, let's just say 5 team members or maybe 4 team members, where you have Sonic, you have Shadow, I would say Tails, and Knuckles. I think that would be a good squad to roll with, maybe even with Amy. Amy as well. Maybe you do 3 people on the squad and you can substitute other people in and out. I think that would be a pretty good setup right there. Shadow, yeah, maybe even Silver. Silver, Shadow, Sonic, Amy, Knuckles, and Tails. Yeah, that's a good squad right there for it. And that would be awesome. And you go to different planets, explore, and you have cool different moves that Sonic can do, spin dash moves that Sonic can do, double Tails attacks, big knuckle punches. I think it would be a dope game, man, if they can actually get the right team. One thing that I was theorizing on my live stream recently is that they potentially get Ubisoft involved. What if Ubisoft made a Mario and Sonic crossover RPG like they did with Mario plus Rabbids, but not a strategy RPG, an actual just like turn-based RPG with action command elements like Mario and Luigi Brothership or the Mario and Luigi series or Paper Mario series? That would be super cool. So maybe that's the route that they take. They get Ubisoft to come in and say, hey, we'll do Mario and Sonic at the RPG games, not at the Olympic games this time, but in an RPG. Mario and Sonic RPG. Oh my gosh, that right there from Ubisoft, man, that would take a lot to get everything doing. But Sega just said that they wanted to make one internally, right? Like one from Sega. But if they can't, since they obviously don't do it, I think Ubisoft might be good with that, considering the incredible work they did with 2 of the games. And Ubisoft has a good track record with Nintendo crossovers because of Starlink Battle for Atlas and the Star Fox stuff. That was the best thing in those games. So I think that Ubisoft could be the company to get this done. Or maybe they just go to Ubisoft and it's a collaboration effort between just like a Sonic RPG with Ubisoft, considering what they did with Mario. So who knows? I think it'd be super cool. And I could probably talk about this for a lot longer, but we're going to move on to the next topic here with this RPG news. It kind of shocked me a little bit, but Falcom, we've got some stuff to talk about here. You guys all know Falcom. They make the Legend of Heroes series. They make Ys, and they've got something cooking soon for an announcement. So Noisy Pixels' Mr. A. Lopez sat down with Nihon Falcom president last week at the Anime Expo to inquire about the company's plans for the future, writes MyNintendoNews. When asked about wanting to go back and remaster a remake of older games, which people talk about all the time, Mr. President Toshiro Kondo responded by saying this, quote, "It's a bit tough as a creator not to want to go and maybe touch up these old games and remake them. It is definitely a desire as a creator to do that. Honestly, I can't talk about the details, but there is a title that we're working on that could be considered a remake. Expect to hear about this title before the end of the year." So that's pretty cool. He did talk about wanting to see Ys 5 Lost Kefin, Kingdom of Sand, being remade at some point. So I do think that, yeah, that'd be awesome. Recently, we got The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak, Ys Memoir, The Oath of Felghana. That's coming back with a localization. Ys 10 Nordics and its Western release. So Falcom fans are eating good for the most part. But yeah, they talked about that. And then he also discussed wanting to have something brand new as well, like a new IP with the Legend of Heroes series coming to about somewhere between 80 to 90% finished and all the different story arcs that they have. They're going to do something new after that. So Falcom is going to be busy. Now, I think the most important thing with Falcom when it comes to their business and what they're going to be doing is the transition to Switch 2. How is that going to be handled? Switch 2 is probably going to come out early next year. Are they going to have Legend of Heroes games ready to go that come out for that year? Legend of Heroes or Ys or whatever else is coming? Or is it just going to be backwards compatible for right now? Because I think the Switch 2 will be backwards compatible. And I don't like talking about Switch 2 a ton, but I think that because of what happened with the Switch and a little bit of the animosity that Nintendo fans had because there were a lot of Legend of Heroes games or Ys games that they were not announcing for the Nintendo Switch at the beginning, and it took a while for the development atmosphere and the ports to really get cooking, and people gave Kondo a lot of crap for that back in the day. But now that everything's kind of rolling, Switch, PlayStation, it's good at this point. How are they going to incorporate that? Because they have been traditionally slow to add in other systems. They are a smaller developer and they don't have all the resources in the world. It's not like people are coming in pumping a bunch of money into Falcom. So we'll see how they handle that. I think that could be key in terms of them actually expanding and getting more, because if you put out great Legend of Heroes games with Switch 2 versions, people that are early adopters are absolutely going to pick those up before all of the other big RPGs kind of come into the fray. I think getting in at ground level is going to be very important because you're going to have a lot of other developers that also are going to be there. Atlas is probably going to be there from day one. Square Enix is going to be there from day one. So getting in right now and establishing a relationship with Switch 2 in terms of the games that's not just backwards compatible is going to be so key, in my opinion, for the future of Falcom, what they do, because it's shifting over more and more. It's not so PlayStation dominant like it used to be for a lot of their RPGs. It's a lot more focused now to where it's balanced with Switch and all of that, even with a lot of the Switch versions of these games outselling PlayStation in Japan sometimes with launches. So I wonder what that remake is going to be that he is teasing right here. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see what they have for us. But man, Legend of Heroes and with Falcom, they just have so many games in the series. Like, I'm still playing SMT5. I'm still catching up with that. I just don't always have the time to play all the games that they're constantly releasing every single year. And they've got more information to share coming up here from what they said here at this interview with the Anime Expo. So shout outs to them. I think that Falcom's awesome. They make great games. Trails Through Daybreak seems to be like it's a beast tier combat system and story for all of the Legend of Heroes fans. So I'm very happy for that. I've been catching up with some videos and catching up with some lore stuff and everything, and I'm pretty much almost ready to get into it, but I still have to get through SMT5, so I don't necessarily have the time. But yeah, this is definitely good stuff overall, and I'm looking forward to actually seeing what they do. So that's gonna wrap it up for this video here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out more of our RPG videos and all of that right here on screen. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace out.